One of the things that's the most controversial statements there are in the world that I'm currently going to advocate for, I guess, is why plummeting birth rates can actually be a good thing, believe it or not. Yeah, it's a very dystopian, very, perhaps darkly themed way of regarding the plummeting birth rates. But bear with me here just a little bit, because there's a lot of doom and gloom with respect to the declining birth rates. And whilst I agree that this does present a legitimate case for concern, you have to look a little bit deeper into what is going on here. Just think about the following. Who are those who don't have kids? And I'm going to put aside those who are unwillingly childless. Being unwillingly childless, in other words, wanting children and being incapable of conceiving, whether that's due to low sperm count, something wrong with the uterus or the ovaries or whatever, that's got to be horrible. Really horrible. I just can't imagine their pain. So I'm not going to include those because I don't know that there are statistics, but leave those statistics out because I genuinely believe they're in the minority. In general, if you leave out the unwillingly childless couples, who are the ones who don't have children? Well, it's predominantly the left-wing liberal lunatics who don't even want kids in the first place because they genuinely believe that it's bad for the environment to have kids. I've even seen some sick and twisted shit, like people saying, oh, in order to save the planet, in order to prevent the climate from running out of control, I'm going to sacrifice myself and I'm not going to have any children. Because we can't steal any more resources. It's so dumb and it's so ridiculous. They fail to understand that more children stimulates the economy, which means more workers, more innovation, and probably more solutions to any of the so-called lacks of resources. In fact, this reminds me of the whole World Offset Day, which I think every year is earlier and earlier in the year, and it's sort of like the day when we've used up our annual resources before we're running empty. Supposedly. The last time I checked, that was in 2016, so that's, 9 years ago. Next year it'll be 10 years ago. 9 years ago, it was around September. Just for fun, I'm gonna research and do a little Google search and see what World Offset Day 2025 is. World Offset Day 2025. Oh, Earth Overshoot Day is what it's called, or Biodiversity Offset Conference. Oh yeah, July 24th, 2025. So, let me see. It wasn't World Offset Day, it was Earth Overshoot Day. 2025 is on July 24th, 2025, which marks the date when humanity's use of renewable resources exceeds what the planet can regenerate in a year. Yeah, whatever. This is what they used to say that you can't. Listen, first of all, nobody can prove that this actually holds water. There are so many factors that apply. How do they know precisely how much I use in a year, in a calendar year? How much do these people know how much you use? And everyone else listen to this, and everyone in the world. They need to have models. These are just people who assess things in their Excel spreadsheets and then extrapolate and probably use AI to generate some sort of weird-ass models, just like they do with climate change, and they use that to promote their agenda. I'm not going to get into that whole retarded nonsense. But here's what I am going to say about it with respect to plummeting birth rates. These dumbass people who don't want any kids and who are a constant energy drain and who don't do anything positive for society are precisely the same ones who don't have kids. And as such, they will eradicate themselves. So essentially, the problem solves itself. Because everyone around me who have kids, they're hardworking, proud people who just want to do well. In other words, they're precisely the sort of people we need for our country or for the world in that respect. And so, just think about that. Yes, the plummeting birth rates means less people, but it means less of the people we don't want around. I'm saying it just like that. Or it means less of the people that I don't want around. Less of the TEVs, less of the time and energy vampires. Just think about that. In closing, I'll leave this video and or podcast wherever you're watching or listening to this with an extreme example that I read about. I think it was from America somewhere. Some woman who deliberately wanted to do a hysterectomy, which is the removal of the uterus and the ovaries, I think, so that she couldn't get pregnant from sex, just so she could have all the sex she wanted without having to worry about introducing a child to the world, which is so sick and twisted. A perfectly healthy woman who deliberately chooses to, I don't know what the word is, let me think. What's the word I'm looking for here? This annoys me. I can't think of the word. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But this is a perfectly legitimate, excuse me, this is a perfectly healthy woman who chooses to destroy her own body just for short-term gain. It's like an alcoholic or a drug abuser. It's crazy and twisted. These are the people that we're getting less of. Just think about that with respect to plummeting rates in general. And so, less of the energy vampires. If you enjoyed this podcast or video and you want to learn more about time and energy vampires and how to deal with them, get subscribed to my email list. The link is always below the episode description wherever you're watching or listening to this. Thank you, and I'll see you later.